Let's say you are living in a country where the government of that particular country says that we are going to credit 10 lakh rupees to all the people who are below poverty line. What will be the reaction? You straight away go to the shop to buy an iPhone if you are an iPhone lover. So what happens? The vendor automatically increases the price of that particular iPhone, because in reality the people who can afford that particular iPhone, just for an example I'm giving, so in this case all the people are getting paid or they're getting credited into their account like 10 lakh rupees per month, let's say for an example. So that makes 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people will rush into the shop and they try to buy an iPhone. So what the vendor will do? Vendor will automatically increase the price of that particular iPhone, and it does that until and unless there will be 100 or 200 people left to buy that particular iPhone. This is called as hyperinflation, and this is a cause of printing more money. If you print the more money, then the inflation or the hyperinflation will take place. You have to print that much equivalent amount of money which you have got as resources like gold and foreign currencies. So these are the two main resources based on what you can print the currencies. What will happen if a country or the government decides to print more money and distribute among the poor people to tackle the poverty? So this is something which I got a question in my mind, and I researched and I thought of making video on this because lots of people I thought have a same doubt. Why don't they just print a lot of money and distribute among the people, poor people, to get rid of the poverty? In this video you get to know that. Why not? So basically, three main factors that will get affected. One is inflation or the hyperinflation. Second one is the global trade, and third one is devaluation of the currency. So let's talk about the inflation or the hyperinflation. What is the current rate of inflation in this reality? Is like 6 to 7% per year. So if a particular country decides to print a more number of notes, in spite they don't have any resources, they don't have any gold reserved into their treasury, but still they decide to print more money, and that leads to hyperinflation. Just take an example of Zimbabwe country in Africa continent. So Zimbabwe government decides to print a more number of money, more number of notes in 2009, and try to distribute among the poor people to tackle the poverty. And actually they did that. And after that, the circumstances were, you want to buy a pound of bread, you need to get this much amount of money. You want to get basic necessity items, you need to have a trolley of money to get those items. So this was the situation in 2010 in Zimbabwe. They printed the notes of denominations like $1 million, $100 million, and $1 billion too. So if you don't have the resources, the money just become like a paper. The money itself doesn't have any value. That paper, that money is just a medium to communicate or to make a business. And coming to the second factor, the global trades. So if you have printed more number of notes, then automatically your currency devalued. There will be devaluation of your currency, and due to that your global trading will be affected. Just take an example. So $1 is equal to 80 rupees INR. You have to buy $1 from a US citizen, you need to give 80 rupees. So why the dollar has increased its value? So there was some factors like World War I and World War II. Exportation took place in the USA. It supplied all the weapons to the different countries who were part of the World War I and World War II as well. So this makes US to gather so much of gold reserves into the bank, into the government of US, so that all countries decided that they will trade in dollars. So dollar became the international currency because US has a more number of gold reserves. This is something very unusual happened during the World War I and II. And coming to the third factor, that is currency devaluation. As I said, in the global trades, if you print more number of notes, that will affect your economy and the economy will collapse, and that leads to collapse of your currency. You have to pay more money for a particular item, where the different countries, the developed countries are paying very less amount for that particular. So because of devaluation of the currency, the economy will collapse and there will be a ruckus into the government of whatever the particular country who have printed more number of notes, the more number of money to tackle the poverty. So according to the RBI Act 1932, Section 22 gives the privilege to the RBI governor to print notes. So there will be some limit. Is there any limit to print the notes? Yes, there is a limit to print the notes. 10,000 rupees if the note torn away, and if any damages happens to the notes, and in some other cases are there, in those cases only RBI have to print notes that is 10,000 rupees only to circulate among the people. So basically if you have this much of goods, then you have to have this much of money only. How much goods a particular country produces, that much money only have a right to print. If a country produces 10 lakh rupee goods, has a right to circulate only 10 lakh rupees notes or whatever the coins, whatever it may be, but all valuation should be not less than 10 lakh and not more than 10 lakh. And if they print more than 10 lakh rupees, hyperinflation will be in the picture. And because of that, a normal average person, BPL, APL person have to have a more trolley of money to buy a basic necessity items. These all problems are there and which we have to take care of. And there will be a back-end calculations, back-end risk analysis will be there. So a particular country, a particular government can't just print more notes because of these whole reasons. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and मिलेंगे यार next video में. Thank you.